All right, welcome back, everyone. Ready for another deep dive?
Always ready. What are we looking at today?
Today, we're going full auto. We're talking about the fastest firing weapons out there.
Oh, this will be good. I love a good firepower discussion.
Yeah, and we're basing this deep dive on a YouTube video called "Top 3 Deadliest and Fastest Firing Weapons You Didn't Know."
Sounds intriguing.
Yeah, and you know what's going to be good because the title really doesn't even scratch the surface. This
Oh,
isn't just about how many bullets a gun can spit out.
yay.
We're talking about weapons that kind of make you question, like, where's the line between science fiction and reality?
I see. So, like the rate of fire implications for the future of warfare type stuff?
Exactly. So you ready to jump in?
Absolutely. Let's fire away.
Okay, so the video starts off strong, like right out the gate. It introduces us to the metal storm. Have you heard of this thing?
The name rings a bell, but I'm not sure I know the specifics.
Okay, well, get this. This thing can fire 1,000,000 rounds per minute.
A million. Wait, hold on. A million.
1,000,000.
I know.
Just like how,
That's insane. How is that even possible?
well, it's all thanks to this crazy electronic ignition system they've got.
Mm-hmm.
No, like, traditional mechanics involved.
Wow. So it's not just a regular gun with faster moving parts or something.
Nope. Completely different technology. And you know what that means.
Less chance of malfunction.
Exactly. No jams, no misfires, at least theoretically,
Uh-huh.
because, well, there are no moving parts to fail.
That's actually pretty brilliant. So it's like a whole new category of firearm almost.
Yeah, it really is. But before we get too ahead of ourselves and start talking about, laser beams and all that,
Right.
let's take a step back and look at some of the weapons that kind of paved the way.
Makes sense. Gotta appreciate the classics.
Right. So the video also talks about this absolute beast of a weapon called the GAU-8 Avenger.
Okay, that one I have heard of. Isn't that the gun they put on the A-10 Warthog?
You got it. That's the one. And let me tell you, it's not messing around. We're talking 4,200 rounds per minute, all designed to obliterate tanks.
Yeah, the GAU-8 is legendary for its firepower. They say it can tear a tank apart like it's nothing.
Oh yeah, it's intense. And it's like a prime example of how crucial firing rate can be in some situations.
Totally. Like when you need to stop a tank dead in its tracks, you need to hit it with a lot of force really quickly.
Exactly. And the GAU-8 does just that. It fires these armor-piercing incendiary rounds. So not only are the bullets themselves designed to, like, pierce through armor, they're also, like, incendiary, so they set things on fire.
Oof. Yeah, you don't want to be on the receiving end of that.
Nope, not at all. So we've got the GAU-8, which is all about brute force.
Right.
And we've got the Metal Storm, which is pushing the boundaries of what's even possible with firearms.
Right.
But there's another weapon featured in the video that kind of sits in between, and it's the M134 minigun. Ever heard of that one?
Oh, yeah, the minigun. How could I forget? That's the classic six-barreled rotary machine gun. That thing's been in every action movie ever made.
For real. And for good reason.
Wow.
It can fire 6,000 rounds per minute.
Yeah, the sound of a minigun firing is just iconic.
Oh, for sure. It's often used for close air support, defense operations, stuff like that.
Yeah, it's all about versatility. You can mount that thing on helicopters, ground vehicles, even ships. And with that rate of fire, you can pretty much suppress any enemy fire and provide cover for troops on the ground.
Absolutely. And, you mentioned earlier that the Metal Storm could potentially change the way we think about firearm reliability.
Right.
But what about the downsides? Like, wouldn't a weapon that relies completely on electronics be kind of vulnerable?
Vulnerable to what, like EMPs or
Yeah,
something?
exactly. EMPs, system malfunctions, glitches, anything like that.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
It's something to consider with any new tech. As advanced as the metal storm is, it does have that potential weakness. If the electronics go down, the whole thing is basically useless.
So what do you think? Is the Metal Storm more like a glimpse into the future, or is it kind of a technological dead end?
It's tough to say for sure. I mean, on one hand, it's an incredible feat of engineering. Firing 1,000,000 rounds per minute is just mind-boggling.
For sure.
But on the other hand, there are definitely those practical concerns you mentioned. I think it'll depend on whether they can find ways to mitigate those risks and make it more reliable in real-world situations.
So I guess the big question is, what does all this tell us about the future of weaponry?
Hmm.
We've gone from, like, obliterating tanks with the GAU-8
Right.
to this super high-tech Metal Storm thing, and then there's the miniguns somewhere in the middle.
It's clear that the drive for innovation in military technology is not slowing down.
Nope.
It seems like the focus isn't just on firing rate anymore, but also on things like accuracy, control, and maybe even minimizing unintended casualties.
That's a good point. More bullets doesn't always mean better, right?
Exactly. So, while the idea of a gun that can fire 1 million rounds a minute is kind of terrifying, the more interesting question is, how will we use this technology responsibly?
Yeah, that's a question we're going to have to grapple with. I mean, if we can already fire 1 million rounds per minute, what's next? 2 million?
Hmm.
10 million? It's kind of scary to think about.
It is, but it's also exciting in a way. It makes you wonder what other breakthroughs are just around the corner. The world of weaponry is constantly changing, and it's definitely going to be fascinating to see where it goes next.
Absolutely. All right, everyone. Well, that's it for today's deep dive. Until next time.
See ya!